Vote for Kavanaugh looks set for this weekend. We can't forget what happened at the very start of this whole fight. Most importantly, how did reporters get their hands on Christine Ford's account in the first place? Now, the Washington Post says that Ford made the initial contact through the anonymous tip line. And only after she had built a rapport with the Post reporter Emma Brown did Ford decide to come forward and give her on-the-record account. But I want to play this moment during the hearing, which really jumped out at me when I first watched it, that I don't think is getting enough attention. Ford was asked about the decision to come forward and said this.
Ultimately, because reporters were sitting outside of my home, a reporter appeared in my graduate classroom, and I mistook her for a student. And she came up to ask me a question, and I thought that she was a student, and it turned out that she was a reporter.
The Washington Post, in a statement to the Ingram angle tonight, reaffirmed that Ford came to them solely through their tip line, and that it was reporters from other outlets who confronted Ford at her home and place of residence. So where does that leave us? Back to Democratic members of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Now, remember, Senator Feinstein was confronted about possible leaks last week and had this kind of interesting exchange with Senator John Cornyn.
Can you tell us that your staff did not leak it?
Oh, I don't believe my staff would leak it. I have not asked that question directly, but I do not believe
you know
they
that?
would.
Have you asked your staff or other staff members of the Judiciary Committee?
Pardon me? Well, Jennifer reminds me I've asked her before about it, and that's true.
Well, the Jennifer she referenced there is a woman named Jennifer Duck, her longtime chief of staff, who now works on the Judiciary Committee for the Democrats and seems to be the authority on the question of leaks. We take the Post at their word that their involvement in this story came solely through the tip line, but what we're less clear on tonight is how the other reporters found themselves in possession of Ford's identity. It's just strange. We reached out to Feinstein's office for clarity, and as of 5 minutes ago, they had not gotten back to us. Here to react, the Washington Post responded to us today by saying, no one leaked anything to us. She ultimately decided she was willing to put her name on the record after reporters from other outlets appeared at her home and workplace, at which time we chose to publish her story. Again, does that ring true?
It is true that the Washington Post didn't go with the story without on-the-record interviews and saw the therapist notes and all of that and tried to do a legitimate investigation. But I've covered so many of these stories, Laura. What happens is that it becomes like an open secret. A source tells one reporter, maybe a source tells two reporters. Reporters talk to each other. Nobody quite wants to go with it because it's an explosive allegation. They don't have the complainant on the record, but eventually gets out there and somebody goes and tries to ambush the person or hang out or